Splatoon 2 is the sequel to Nintendo's new IP, Splatoon, released on the Wii U. If you didn't own a Wii U then, the odds are that you missed out on Splatoon, and you very well might be curious if you should play the original to enjoy Splatoon 2. But rest assured, while there is a story for Splatoon 2, the game's focus is mainly on the core gameplay aspects itself: fast movement, smart tactics, and overcoming puzzles, challenges, or the competition. Which means, even if you missed the first Splatoon, you won't really be lost in the second one. Long story short, there are squid people and other sea-like creatures. One race hates the other one and they fight with ink because squids. No, I'm serious, that's basically the story brought down to its simplest level. There is plenty of lore that will explain the story, and YouTube videos for that matter, but that's what you do in the campaign. Fight against these enemies with paint. I don't know why the paint kills them, but that's what Nintendo came up with. And hey, it's a breath of fresh air. It's not bullets anymore, so hey, my hat's off to them for making a fun shooter that doesn't require bullets. And there are some really amazing bosses to overcome within the single player game mode, just like in the Wii U, but there is also a co-op campaign that can be played as well, leading to people playing the game in a multitude of ways. But aside from a few slight changes, would it be worth making the switch for?
What a terrible joke.
By law, I need payment for that pun with likes on this video so I can feed my emptiness. But on a serious note, I will be looking at this game once again with the 5 pillars of gaming: graphics, gameplay, control, sound, and story. Splatoon on the Wii U was able to produce a decent resolution and maintain it at 60 frames per second. And Splatoon 2 on the Nintendo Switch can as well, though most of the time the resolution swaps between around 800p with a little bit of change there, and 1080p, upscaling and downscaling in numbers. I'm being very generalistic with the specs because, you know, most people come for reviews, not just for the specs. There are way more in-depth, detailed specifics. If you want to know them, check out a channel called Digital Foundry for the exact numbers, resolution, and analysis on that. They do a pretty good job on that. Point is, most of the time the game runs at 60 frames per second at a decent resolution dock, unless in specific areas. As in, your gameplay will likely be unaffected, but walking around the hub area will be constrained to 30 frames per second. I focus on this because it's very important to note that Nintendo have decided to sacrifice powerful resolution in favor of frame rate. The PC equivalent would be something like normal or lower settings, but getting well above a constant 60 FPS, or using something like G-Sync or FreeSync to achieve a consecutive non-stop 60 FPS with no frame drops. Without question, Nintendo are amazing at developing first-party games, and while this one is stable, it does reflect the console quality that most PC gamers make fun of. For example, the shadows cast very low resolution. The hub area, as aforementioned, is constrained to 30 FPS. There is downscaling in resolution, and the online play using headsets is ridiculous due to the convoluted system. If this were on PC, it would probably be able to be something like 144 FPS at 1080p minimum with simple plug-and-play headset and chat support, with the functionality for keyboard support and chatting in-game. Why I focus on this so much is because the Nintendo Switch is one of the few consoles that a strictly PC gamer might pick up, as it is so different from the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One with its individual first-party games that are exclusive to it, and this would be one of the games that they would buy. So it's important to talk about this stuff, as many PC gamers will check out these reviews. So while the gameplay itself, the most important part, is both constant and smooth, there are other areas of the game where things are less than perfect. Graphically speaking, the game might look gorgeous, but while we are moving into the age of 4K, the downscaling will become noticeable on bigger, more refined TVs over the years. While 60 FPS will look great going back to this game years later, failing to meet the minimum of 1080p constant 60 FPS is pretty disappointing, but at least 720p was the minimum that was achievable. Now, I'm not all about those graphics, but at the end of the day, with a game that is super stylized like Splatoon 2, it really is sad to see that it can't pop 4K, let alone 1080p. However, the stylization of Splatoon 2 makes it look much better than other games would, at resolutions lower than 1080p. So while not the cleanest image, most viewing angles are enjoyable from this game, along with character models, guns, paint, and the effects that were added here versus the Wii U. It's fairly similar to the original, just with a few things added here and there. Gameplay consists of a short 6 to 8 hour story mode, co-op modes, competitive multiplayer, and the ability to interact with many things in the hub world. Once more, you can unlock upgrades with items that you can wear within the game, from caps to pants. Each item gives bonuses to specific things that can help you in battle. Each character is fairly similar, with weapon types and items worn being the main difference. Returning are sub-weapons and special attacks similar to other games that act as grenades or super attacks that can turn the tide of battle by laying down a lot of paint in one spot or walling off another one. Tactically speaking, this game should appeal more to those willing to play online in competitive than those looking for a lengthy single-player experience. To get good at Splatoon 2, you should be willing to think and change up playstyles. Learn how to use and react to multiple weapons, situations, and teams that you will face off against. If that doesn't sound good to you and you don't like what you're seeing, then don't bother with this game. Moving on to sound, the game's music is a peppy, upbeat rhythm, which is light and feels like it goes with the game itself, and the sound effects fit well too. Nothing seems out of place sound-wise, but I'm not really into the audio of games, so for what it's worth, everything matches up and sounds right. And without spoiling the story, again, it consists of a short campaign that can be enjoyed by anyone just getting into the game, and should be the first place for most players to learn the ropes of Splatoon 2. Overcoming the campaign can help many players get used to the online much faster by learning many abilities before being thrown into the fray of multiplayer first. And again, it's a decent mode, but it feels almost the same as the Wii U's original Splatoon. So if you enjoyed the original story, or you enjoy third-person shooting games, you'll probably enjoy Splatoon 2's single-player story mode. The controls are fine, though I would strongly suggest a Pro Controller to play with, as it feels more like console experience if you are looking for that. And I personally can't really stand the Joy-Cons for a game like this. They just constantly feel gimmicky to me. But don't let my personal opinion sway you on that. If you like that controller, use it. The point is that the Pro Controller is expensive, so if you dislike the Joy-Cons for games like this, then it's not going to magically get better. Either you're going to have to shell out some cash for a Pro Controller, or you're going to have to deal with the original. However, it is a one-to-one experience for me though. But if you cannot stand any type of input delay, get a Pro Controller and plug it in while you play. This should reduce any possible input lag at best, but personally, it doesn't seem to be a problem in wireless mode either. And who knows, maybe it doesn't really even reduce anything. Maybe that's just wishful thinking. But there is one thing that falls outside of the 5 pillars of gaming, and that's the online service and the convoluted headset chat mechanic. Now, I've already covered this slightly earlier, but really it's up to you. Your connection and your ability to keep a cell phone on you. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, just Google how the headset works with the Nintendo Switch and you will understand. Because for me, if I can't communicate with my team easily, then online games lose a big chunk of their appeal to me, often causing more stress and effort than necessary. And that's about it. Splatoon 2 shines in multiplayer mostly, while other modes take a back seat. If you enjoy unlocking customizable clothing that offers bonuses for gameplay and playing online against people, then this game's for you. If you dislike third-person shooters and you don't play multiplayer, then stay away from this game, because mostly it won't be worth buying. But Splatoon 2 is as good, if not better than the original, because once again, you get the console experience at home, or you can switch things up and take it with you. This is ideal for people who like to compete a lot while also being mobile. I hope you enjoyed this review of Splatoon 2, and if you did, leave me a like and let me know you did. Please comment anything that I missed, and as always, I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. Good gaming, God bless, and thank you for watching.